Great Waterton, where my father was born to live to tell the tale. This is from his perspective. It was 1996, and the engines were bustling about, whistling to each other and saying hello to all the people. When my father was born, everything went uphill, but Sir Topham Hatt has ordered a diesel named Diesel 10, and this is what happened before he met the ghost engine. When my father was 12 years old, Diesel 10 was always insulting him because of the way he acted and the way he looked, calling him rude names like brat, you should go, you should never be here, and all those crazy words. Thomas and the other engines tried to help him, but my father had enough. So this is what happened that one morning. He found the town of Great Waterton as he fled through the woods. A search party was issued, but they couldn't find him. He didn't know he passed by Great Waterton until he noticed. As soon as the clearing appeared, he tripped over a platform and looked up. Right in front of him was a station. There was a banner on the top, and it said Great Waterton. He was shocked. This is what he said.
What? A town of Great Waterton? I thought this place was demolished. But how?
My father grew to the habitat of Great Waterton and found a house where he could live. He refurbished the inside, bought new furniture, and painted it from the outside as a blue and red. As the same year rolled by, he heard rustling in the bushes. And as soon as he looked out the window, he saw a woman falling from the bushes. As soon as she fell through the bushes, they made eye contact. They realized they were the perfect match couple. And this is the continuation.
Ma'am, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hi, my name is Jeremy. What's your name?
Julia? Yeah, people call me that. But you can call me Jewel.
And now they were the perfect, beautiful couple. Ever since then, they got married and lived in Great Waterton. And, well, this is how I came into the story. He lied that he never met the ghost engine, but I did. I actually met a ghost engine in our town, our home, where we lived. We repolished a track so we can buy an engine. The engines weren't that expensive around my time. Then we decided to get one. Since my favorite color was green, they decided to name me Mike, and they colored my room a little dull green. And they bought an engine that looked exactly like a tank engine, but with the number 11 on its sides and colored green. His name was Junior.
So, is he in good condition?
Oh yeah, he's good. He did a good training before we got here, but he is doing excellent.
Is the rest coming?
Yeah, there will be another tank engine, 4 tender engines, and 1 side tank engine, and a Triumph engine, and my silver one, I think. And another one which is purple, and his name is Hank, and he will be coming tomorrow morning, I think.
Oh yeah. So, you want $1,000 bill or $1 bill?
Oh, wow, I do, buddy. Thank you, Jeremy. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Alright, see you, Jeremy.
See you, Toby.
And soon, This is the beginning of the haunting. Now, this engine arrived pretty early in the night. We just built a big station in the middle of a water tank, and we were excited to get our first guests to stay. Then we heard a whistle. I looked up and there was a shiny red engine in front of me with the number 5. I was so excited. I asked Dad where he got it, and he said he got it from Sir Topham Hatt, my grandpa. But that totally alarmed. I was sitting in a chair in front of the station, drinking a cup of tea, and I heard some kind of wailing. Sounded like screaming. I didn't know where it was coming from. I looked to the right, didn't see nothing. I got up and jumped off the platform onto the tracks. Then I got back up. I didn't hear no audio. Then it got louder and louder and louder. I could hear it from the station. I ran inside. I looked at the window. There was a big engine racing past full speed. I got a camera and took a photo. The photo showed the face of the engine melted. Bits and bobs of flesh was melting. The eyes, oh god, the eyes were gone. Then I realized that the red engine and Junior were probably scared. I ran to them, and this is what they said. Ghosts! And then the supernatural started to happen. That night, I had a nightmare. In the dream, I saw an engine looking at me. The devilish smile. And there was fire spewing from each side of the cab, roof, funnel, and the eyes. Then it lunged at me, laughing like crazy. I woke up in the scream. This is what it sounded like. What a nightmare. The next morning, me and the red engine, who is now James, set off in the night. A lantern in my hand and a shovel in the other. Me and my father looked out the windows, looking for the engine roared past, screaming like a banshee.
So, are you for certain you saw this engine that screamed like a banshee? Am I right?
Yes, it didn't look normal. It looked like it was deformed. Like one of those horror movies.
Son, you must be hallucinating. You watch too much of those horror movies. You've been thinking of the...
As we passed the old yard where the tram engines used to sit, at the docks, James stopped, face pale, boiler shaking, and we heard the grinding of the metal shaking together. As we looked to the other side, we saw a horrific sight. Roger was dead, faced, gone. Half of the flesh was melting, like the engine who screamed like a banshee. I saw it last night. He was screaming in pain, like the engine. He was looking at me. My dad quickly saw what happened and vomited on the scene. He didn't want to see the remains of the tram engine who once been his friend. The tram engine looked at us and mumbled the 4 words who haunted me for the rest of my life. The metal is coming. And like that, his face fell off and hit the tracks with a loud thump. Then we heard walking. We looked over, and there was a man with a cane and a top hat and a suit. He was a kind old fella and talked to me what happened. So the crane malfunctioned and crashed on Roger, And this is the damage that happened to him. We don't know who caused it, but the other train engines and the coach said they saw an engine screaming like a banshee in the night and left this on his face. Junior puffed up, and as soon as he saw Roger, his old-time friend, he cried and cried as the remains of his friend burned as the fire started from his boy. Nothing could save Roger that fateful day. Roger's eyes pierced my soul and left me scarred. And now I suffer from PTSD of tram engines dead like Roger. And again, but different, there was a dream of Roger in the same state, mouth gaped open, screaming like the banshee of the same engine. This was a repeating nightmare of the haunted Great Waterton story. This was the final straw. Why would a kid experience trauma like this as soon as his father met the woman in Great Waterton? I realized the puzzles must come together. That night I sat on my bed and I was thinking, why would this happen? Roger didn't deserve this. The one piece was missing from the mind. I presumed that the woman that my father met in the very beginning in Great Waterton was her. She probably did a black magic to summon the banshee screaming engine that raced past the station. I took the photo and my dad believed me. Now I must stop her. Now I must end this. I must stop her from hurting the other tram engines or the steam engines. Or else she might hurt Junior. Ever since then, Junior has never gone out of his shed. He always trembles as soon as he hears someone's name. Roger was the only thing to keep him together. He was like a father to him. Now he's gone. Now, Junior is scared for his life. And then I had a plan. The next morning, I told my mother to go into the woods, that there are some beautiful birds out there, and I locked the door. I turned around and told my father that she must summon the banshee engine who was screaming, and showed him the video. When he saw the video, he was stunned. The woman that he loved the most was, I can't pronounce it. My father went to the store immediately and bought a crucifix cross so I can put it under my pillow. But this never happened to the engine. The first day, banshee screaming engine. Second day, Roger's dead. Third, my mother is not okay. I went to the bathroom and splashed some water on my face, cooled down, and decided to play some Mario on my Nintendo that I got for Christmas. This never happened before. I thought and thought and thought, but nothing came to mind. To the horrors that when the third engine, who was a blue tank engine, arrived, experienced the same thing what happened to them, to Roger, but not death, fright. Now, nothing came to mind. I was getting more excited that this town would be a great home for the engines. Junior has started to recover after what he saw that fateful day. But I told him to scratch it off his mind because he will have a new friend. Then his brother will come into the Sodor Island. We heard a puffing and a whistle. A blue tank engine puffed up beside me. He was smiling as a beam of light. I told him that my name was Mike, and you can call me Mikey. The engine nodded, but he didn't feel like speaking right now until the next day. The next day was horrible. I asked some workers to fix the water tower to supply some water. The blue tank engine, who we can't name yet, was busy shunting trucks in the yard. Then he snapped. I started to feel a little rousy around him, like I was blinking and he was staring at me weirdly, like he wanted to do something bad. And this is what he did. Once the Topham Hatt found out, he was mostly impressed until his son's graduation for the #1 tank engine, Thomas. Thomas, on the other hand, didn't feel right. He acted more violent and aggressive to the other engines and the trucks. He even tried to push one into a molten fire in the scrapyards. This is what Thomas recognized in the show. I did not see this nice, friendly tank engine act like this. This is not normal for a normal tank engine to act more violent around other stuff. Junior delivers the Topham Hatt to the great Wilton town. For so long, the two hugged. My father and Grandpa were finally reunited after all of these years. Ever since he ran away, he thought he was dead. But now he's finally back with his long-lost son. And when he saw James, he said, "James, I'm so happy to see you." But disaster struck. As soon as he arrived, we looked over at the tower and we saw Thomas pushing the trucks full speed ahead. He dodged to another siding as the trucks collided with the tower with a loud bang, crash, boom, whack, thwack. The trucks piled on one another as they collided together, and the tower fell on top of the trucks, killing them instantly on impact. Thomas snapped out of his trance and looked at the tower and gasped. He saw me limping away with a broken arm. I didn't get away in time, and one of the towers caught my arm and broke it. So Topham Hatt scolded Thomas. He was so mad he wanted to beat the engine's lamp in, but he couldn't. He looked at the damaged tower that remains at Leyden in front of him and looked at the blue tank engine. He said this: "Thomas, look what have you done? My son wanted this day to be perfect. I wanted my day to retire, but yet you snapped into some. This is not you. You almost destroyed Percy's mail cars. You now destroyed this tower. You caused nothing but trouble ever since you brought those cars in. And now you act like this with my son? You're going to your own shed with the other two. And you're going to stay there for the rest of the day." Thomas felt rage boiling in his stomach as he looked at the controller. He got so mad he almost sounded demonic when he screamed this:
You thought I was better. You thought I was your #1. But you demanded me to do everything. I'll show you tomorrow.
And he puffed away angrily as he blew smoke into my eyes, blinding me. But I was able to see the next day. Today was the worst day ever. We got the silver engine, and Percy, the silver engine now Stanley, was helping the workmen fix the tower. But as soon as they saw Thomas, they stopped. They'd remember what he tried to do. He tried to frame Stanley for him knocking down the tower before his son was born. Thomas looked at the tower and then at them. The rage didn't leave him that day. The day he felt he wanted to knock down the tower on those two two kind soul engines. They were my friends this whole time. Then Tom started shaking violently, like in a pattern. I remember this from our local Chuck E. Cheese. This happened before. Now it's happening to Thomas? This is not going as planned, thought my grandpa. Then Thomas stopped. He looked around in a panic. He didn't know, he didn't think, he didn't care he was being watched in cold stares. Thomas raced away. Me and Stanley tried to chase him, tried to get him back, saying, "Wait, don't go." But it was too late. Thomas hid in the bushes on an old track. The next day, Thomas returned, all dingy and rusty, broken, and looked like a rust bucket. He didn't look normal at all. I thought those urban legends were fake, but I was so wrong. The engine, who I thought was an urban legend of half-baked, was real. But this took the form of Thomas, the #1 tank engine from the television series I watched as a kid. Our mother went missing and we couldn't find her. She was never found that day. Junior hid in the shed and never came out for a whole year until the PTSD was gone. James kept mumbling the words I heard that night when the ghost screaming banshee ran past the station.
Ghosts! Ghosts!
I went to bed and I covered in my blankets, closed my eyes, ready for the horrors for the next day.